Aries and Taurus relationships. And that's actually a good combination because Aries is a pretty excitable sign and it goes deep quickly into everything. When they fall passionately in love, they tend to go after the person they like, or they're like burning all the time. They can't think of anything else. Their focus is really intense. So the Aries person will be very intense while Taurus takes its time. Well, I have to see how reliable this person is. Usually, we're talking, this is generalizing astrology. You can be a Taurus and be totally, you can have quite a few other planets in different signs that do the unbalance, but generally speaking, So the Taurus person would like to take their time, not to commit too quickly and immediately before they see how reliable the other person is. So they can actually balance this impetuous side of Aries, because if Aries falls for another person who is just as quickly falls and goes after the person they like, and they try to commit without having seen what the other personality is, they usually, they tend to be more divorces like that. But the Taurus person will slow down the Aries, will tell them, wait a little bit. So if you're an Aries and you're in love with a Taurus, you might be a bit exasperated that the Taurus person takes a little bit longer. Or if you're a Taurus person, you might be a little bit exasperated with the Aries person that they're like forcing you almost, that they're throwing tantrums if you're not doing what they want. And Taurus is a very very self-sufficient sign, so to say. They do not like to be pushed. They do not like to be rushed. They like to make up their own mind, So there can be a bit of friction here, but there is a good stabilizing influence, because Taurus will temper a little bit Aries, and Aries will stimulate a little bit Taurus more, to be a bit more impetuous, so to say. But let's do a more interesting astrological comparison to see how person who have, first of all, their ascendant in Aries will be affected by someone who has their sun in Taurus. So basically, imagine you have your ascendant in Aries. To find out your ascendant, you need to go to my birth chart calculator, which I'm putting a link below, and you need to know your time of birth. And this is a bit more correct astrological relationship comparison. So enter your time of birth, your place of birth. If you do not know your time of birth, I'm afraid you cannot do this comparison, and you'll miss out quite a bit on, on understanding more in-depth astrology. But you can still compare if your sun is in Aries to another person whose sun is in Taurus. But from the ascendant, if your ascendant is Aries, is usually more correct. And if it happens that you have your ascendant, underneath the table it will show ASC, ascendant in Aries, and you're saying your child is Taurus, or you're interested in someone whose sun is in Taurus. It means they're born from the 20th of April to about the 21st of May. So how will this person affect you? Well, this person will trigger your second house, whether it's your ascendant in Aries or your sun in Aries. The Taurus person will trigger your second house, which means that they will bring second house energy into your life. Second house is the energy of stability, the energy of financial, being able to manage your finances better. So such a person, if you're Aries or Aries ascendant, being with a Taurus person will help you become more materially conscious, will help you become more, maybe sort out your finances in a better way, maybe put you more attention on financial matters, or not only financial, any kind of resources. So, anything which gives you stability and which makes you feel secure in life. Such a person can trigger this desire in you, can trigger your awareness of those issues. Because usually Aries or Aries ascendant, Aries sun or Aries ascendant, they live in the now. They don't care. They can utilize everything. Just like the ram is an animal which eats its grass with the roots, the goats and the rams. It eats the grass and the area where it's foraging from the roots, and nothing remains after that. So they utilize everything at the moment. But the cow, or the bull as we say, is the other type. It's an animal which eats only the top of the grass, so the grass grows up again. So it's more of a conservationist type of mentality that Taurus people have, and they do not annihilate, leave a desert after them, like Aries, utilizing everything without thinking for the future. Just the opposite. Taurus are careful. They try to conserve their resources. So they can teach this thing to an Aries person, a Taurus person. person. So you say you have, say you ascendant Aries and your daughter child is Taurus with the sun in Taurus. They will teach you to become more aware. They will, even if it's not in a direct way, just by having them in their life, you'll become more aware of dealing with of dealing and managing your resources better, more security conscious, so to speak. And second house triggering as well, they will have a strong impact for good or bad on your self-worth. If sometimes it can be in a positive way that these people really increase your self-worth, because second house, they trigger your second house, those Tauruses, and in some way they can make you feel more valued and more worthy, but sometimes they can trigger it in a negative way, that they make you more aware that you don't really have high self-worth, so you try and compensate or do something about it, you know. And also, second house is the house of, as we said, self-sufficiency, so they can help you, or they can teach you in some way, or they can trigger in you in a easy or in a negative way the desire, through maybe a painful experience or through a positive experience. They can trigger in you the desire to be more self-sufficient, emotionally, financially, to settle down, to put roots. You know, second house is all those things that that you said, that everything, life becomes peaceful, becomes predictable, becomes kind of more routine and more stable, you know. So this is what these people can bring into you. Even if your sun is Aries, like I'm Aries, Taurus would affect me like in such a way, you know. But usually the ascendant, comparing your ascendant to another sun is more, you know, it definitely has a stronger impact. Now let's see what happens if your ascendant is in Taurus, and how an Aries will affect you. Well, if your ascendant or sun is in Taurus, so born from the 20th of April to the 21st of May, or the ascendant, which changes every 2 hours, if you see that your ascendant is in Taurus, and how will Aries people affect you? Their sun is in Aries, so they're born from the 21st of March to the 20th of April. The sun will be in the 12th house from the sign Taurus, from the ascendant or the sun in Taurus. They will be like counting in the correct order. I'm putting a diagram below. They will be in your 12th house. So Aries people will affect Taurus in a different way, actually. If you're the Taurus person, the Taurus ascendant person, Aries people are here to teach you about letting go, because 12th house is the house of letting go, of not having so much control of things, of letting go and letting God. They can help you, they can teach you how to relax, how to take it easy, how to not stress so much, how to leave things in God's hands or into the hands of destiny, you know. So 12 house is, imagine going down the river and just relaxing. Taurus is quite good at relaxing anyway, if you have Taurus ascendant or sun, but the Aries people will somehow trigger in you this you might find it quite irresponsible, you might find it that it's not very mature, but we have to be able to do that as well. We have to be able to develop our 12th house, which is letting go, relaxing, letting go, you know. And also they might trigger your mystical side a little bit. Not every Aries will do that, but there are different levels of Aries. The most spiritually aware ones, they can trigger your 12th house, which is the house of awareness of God and awareness of mystical, higher, invisible worlds. 12th house rules everything which is non-material. And Tauruses tend to need that because they're more materially, sensually, sense-focused. And an Aries will actually somehow, even with their responsibility or whatever kind of, their attitude to life, they would show them that there are higher realities than this one, that the invisible worlds, so invisible energies that are there for us. So it can be in a good way, like a teacher, some areas that comes to your life that brings more spirituality, or might be just by seeing that someone, you know, always takes out always knows how to follow the intuition in a way, you know. Or also 12th house is the house of expense. So on the negative side, Aries can cost you a bit more. They can be someone that you spend money on, for instance. They can be someone that trigger your desire to spend, or maybe they can be your shopping partner, or they can be a friend that every time you get together you like to splurge, or they can be, you might be in love with Aries, and if your ascendant is in Taurus, you might be willing to spend a bit more on them. And 12th house is the house also of sacrifice, of giving more than receiving. So often Tauruses, if you especially ascendant Taurus, they might, whenever Aries comes into your life, Aries type of people, they would be the ones, to the Taurus person would be the one who is giving a bit more to the Aries person, or who is like, I don't know, like protecting or taking care of the Aries person, you know. The 12th house is the house of being a bit more victimized. So the Taurus person might feel that the Aries person is a little bit more vulnerable, so they want to protect them, to take care of them, or to give to them, to be more unconditional towards them. And 12th house also rules your imagination. So for you Tauruses, Aries people, especially if you're Taurus ascendant, Aries people will trigger your fantasy world, your imagination. So it can create very strong platonic love, especially in love relationship, because if you're Taurus ascendant, you're in love with some Aries man or woman, you might find yourself constantly fantasizing about this person, because 12th house, they trigger your 12th house, and 12th house is the house of the invisible, of the inner world, of what's happening in your head. So you can find yourself constantly dreaming, fantasizing about this person. Even if you don't have a sexual or physical relationship with them, they can be there, you know, in your fantasies. They can be like the ideal partner that you put on a pedestal, idealize, but not very realistic. So you have to be careful, because Aries can put those rose-colored glasses on you and mislead you. Aries can be misleading for you sometimes, and in the most negative case, Aries can be bad karma for you. That's in the most negative case, because 12th house is the house of past life incarnation. So especially if you have your ascendant in Taurus, the sun as well to some degree, but ascendant, and you have Aries in your life, they're in your life from past time. You had past life connections, and you might have something to give to them. You might have, because they trigger your 12th house, so you have to give more to this person. Usually you have to take care of them in some way, to protect them, to give to them, or you might fall in love with them, infatuation that is not very realistic, or they might be deluding you in some way, projecting to you some image that you know, vulnerability and weakness, and at the same time using you. But this is in extreme cases. I'm just giving you a few examples to see how the 12th house, when it's triggered, works. But usually in the positive way, they can help you expand your imagination, your belief in spirituality, in soulmateship, in things that are more invisible, more highly, you know, or also to let go and relax. 12th house is the house of getting drunk and getting out, escaping reality. Anything which is unrealistic or which is escaping reality, for instance, this friend of mine, she has Taurus ascendant and sun in Taurus, and I'm Aries, and every time we get together, she would be like, oh, I just feel like having a drink when I'm with you, you know. So Aries person, if you're Taurus ascendant, can stimulate in you this desire to escape reality, to just fantasize, to have fun, to maybe get drunk, you know. That's in the negative sense, in the more negative, or to be more creative, fantasizing some way. They can be like a muse as well. 12th house is a bit of an inspirational house, so they can be this muse unreachable or unattainable. And just be aware as well, because you might tend to fall with Aries, if your ascendant sun is Taurus, to fall in love or not to see them realistically, and there might be some kind of infatuation, as I said, and you paying some karmic debt to them. That's in the more negative cases. So yeah, I think that's between Aries and Taurus. I mentioned quite a few things. Please write your impressions. Thank you.